We've in-depth coverage on the controversial RhodeWorks plan. Both the House and Senate's finance committees have passed bills approving the measure. The full House could approve it later today. Joining us now is one of those opposed to the measure, State Rep Jared Nunes. And good morning to you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so you're opposed, and why are you opposed?
Well, the way the legislation is currently written, it's going to encompass a lot more vehicles than people are leading on. Everybody keeps saying it's just large commercial vehicles,
right.
But the way it's written, there's a loophole in there that's going to allow people pulling boats and campers and small trailers to be tolled as well.
So we're hearing just, you think of the classic 18-wheeler rolling down the highway. That's the only thing that's going to get tolled. But if you're taking your boat to a launch, or if you have a camper, right? Is that something that does this need to be cleared up for folks to understand exactly what is going on here?
Well, I think it does, because it only applies if you have a dual rear wheel pickup truck. Would you be bumped into the next the class higher than a single rear wheel pickup truck? So that would make you, if you're pulling any trailer behind a dual rear wheel pickup truck, you're going to end up paying the toll, because that bumps you up into class 8, which is specified in the legislation as a tollable vehicle.
So it sounds, though, like this, for lack of a better term, we're going to a different mode of transportation, that this train's already rolling down the tracks, though, and it's not going to be changed. Am I correct in assuming that, or are we too far along here?
Well, there will be floor amendments. I have an amendment to fix that specific issue, and that all I can do is put it out there and try to persuade my colleagues to support it.
Are you? How much support do you have?
I mean, I've been bringing this issue up for a couple of weeks, and people agree with me. The Director of Transportation agrees that this may be an issue, but it still hasn't been fixed to this point. So I'm gonna do what I can. I mean, I'm one legislator.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Is there a groundswell of support from you when you bring these things up? Are you the only one bringing them up? I'm sure other people have realized the flaws in this.
Other people surely have, and I would expect that there's going to be a decent amount of support for it, and I'm hoping that this exposure is going to help with that.
Now, if it does go through, there's also talks about people avoiding Rhode Island altogether with at least with the commercial trucking business, that they'll just go right around the state, and that's going to affect not only the tolling, but it also affects restaurants and people that will rely on the business of truckers that come through the area. So there seems like is there more negative than positive with this whole thing? Do you see that?
As far as I'm concerned, I believe there is more negative. One thing, from speaking to my constituents, the one thing that everybody's made abundantly clear to me is that everybody wants to fix the roads. The disagreement here is on the funding mechanism to do so, and whether or not tolling is an appropriate funding mechanism. And my constituents and myself, we don't believe that that's the case. I've spoken to many business owners, many trucking companies that think that this is really going to hinder competition in the trucking industry in Rhode Island, because many of the multi-state trucking companies are just simply going to not service Rhode Island because of the issues paying the tolls.
A lot of things could be affected here. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Discussing this very passionate topic, of course, here in Rhode Island, and we'll have much more on this controversial plan. And it's on our website, as always, WPRI.com.